actually, for a very long time, commissioning was not allowed. Long-term funding of the NHS means there are a third non-hospital beds.
Send what for imaging back down to the clinic room, explain what the imaging is shown. We can utilise the nurses on the ward, which makes it more cost efficient for weekends and things rather than staffing.
The hospital, and we all know in Winchester how much we love our hospital and how much it means to us in Winchester. And whenever we need to raise money, or whenever we need something for the hospital, we only have to ask people in Winchester, and it never seems too much. And that's very special. That's not the same everywhere, but that's certainly what it is in Winchester, in the city of Winchester, because people know that hospital, and most of the people who work there live here in Winchester, and so many of us have been there. Many of you were probably born there. My 2 children were born there in the last few years as well. So it's very special to us, and the work that you've done is so good.
We are the children of St Bede, and with every loving deed, we will care for one another, reaching out to those in need.
Andrew Lansley, we're here outside St Bede Primary School in centre of Winchester. Not often you come to schools, but we've been to the hospital today and seen the stroke unit there and the wonderful work they're doing, and meeting the GPs that will run the care commissioning group, and now here at the school receiving a cheque for Sophie's Magic Wand Appeal. It's a special hospital, Winchester, isn't it?
It is, and it's a real pleasure for me to come back to Winchester Hospital, because I've been here before, and I know last time I was here was about how they were really reducing infections and looking after improving the care today for patients with stroke and providing the very best care. And it's great to have a chance to come here in Winchester at St Bede and see how they've been raising money for the Magic Wand Appeal to support the improvement of services for families and children at the hospital.
But it's special, isn't it? As you were saying, you know, District General Hospital is at the heart of the NHS in many ways, but it doesn't have to be a silo, does it? There are services in that DGH that are part of community services, and Winchester Hospital, I hope, is getting it right under its new structure.
Yes, what we've got at the moment, of course, is the Hampshire hospitals working together. So it's Basingstoke and Winchester, Andover, the community hospitals working together. And of course that will strengthen Winchester. I think it'll give them, as it were, strength in depth. So you can see how, for example, they're providing here the stroke service that I saw today. It's a stroke service for really the whole of Winchester and Basingstoke as well. There's a bigger catchment population, so more patients are getting access to the specialist services here at Winchester. But you're absolutely right. It's also their opportunity to look out beyond the boundary of the hospital and say, look, it's about improving health care. So it's about working together with the GPs and the others. That's why when we were at the hospital we met the local GPs who are leading the design of services across West Hampshire.
And enthusiastic about doing so, aren't they? That's exciting.
They really are, and you could see how they're bringing, in a way, when we were talking to them and saying, look, are you talking to the consultants at the hospital now? They say, yes, we are. And sometimes a chap said, look, we're talking to like the orthopaedic consultants about who do things like knees and hips and so on. And they said, actually, we explained to them what we wanted, and they said, this is great. We're actually talking directly about this. We don't have to go through the managers. You're the GPs in the community. We're the specialists in the hospital. We can just talk to one another. We can sort it out.
And that's what health reform's about. It's about changing the structures and delivering great care out here in places like Winchester, isn't it?
Well, and of course, what it's all about is it's not. What happens in the health service isn't decided in Westminster.
No.
Fundamentally, what our job is to do is to make sure that we get the responsibility and the opportunity out there for the doctors and nurses to improve services for patients, to really feel that their services respond to them, they get information, they get to share in decision making, and they know the doctors and nurses who are responsible for looking after them are able to get the right services in their local area.
It's great to have you back in Winchester again. Let's go and put you back on the train, I suppose.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank you for coming.